This week on TechRap, Nokia launches the 41-megapixel Lumia 1020 in the Philippines. We have availability and pricing information. LG's newest flagship smartphone goes on sale globally. How does the G2 stack up against the best smartphones in the world? And we show you what's new in Apple's mobile operating system, iOS7.
Hi, I'm Michael Josh, and this is TechRap, your weekly source for tech news, gadget reviews, app recommendations, and social media tips. Facebook is rolling out an update to Graph Search that allows users to search for status updates, photo captions, check-ins, and comments. Previously, using Graph Search, you could run search queries like photos of my friends taken in Boracay or friends who watch the newsroom and live in Makati City. This week's update is the first time users get the ability to search for conversations that take place on Facebook. For example, you can now search for posts about Dancing with the Stars by my friends. You can also search for posts you've commented on or posts you've made from the last year. Like the rest of Graph Search, you will only be able to access information that is already made available to you, meaning only posts shared with you based on a user's privacy settings. The update is slowly rolling out to a small group of users that already received the Graph Search update. So if you don't have it, don't worry. YouTube is hosting the first ever YouTube Music Awards on November 3 to honor the artists and songs that have become hits on the popular video sharing platform. YouTube stars and collaborative performances from around the world will also be on display during the event. YouTube will announce the nominees on October 17. Users play a part in selecting the songs and artists that are honored. Fans of a particular video or song can share the nominees across social media, and that gets counted in the judging. Who are your favorite YouTube stars? Let us know on Twitter, use the hashtag TechRap, and send us a link to the video. Basketball crazy Filipino gamers have a new reason to rejoice as the latest edition of the NBA 2K franchise hit Philippine shelves Tuesday. On the cover is four-time NBA MVP and recent Manila visitor LeBron James. NBA 2K14 is released on PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. It will eventually be available for the still unreleased PS4 and Xbox One. A mobile version of the game is also available on iOS and the Amazon App Store for Kindle users. No word on when it will come to the Google Play Store. New features of the console and PC versions include improved gameplay physics and Pro Stick controls for better simulation of actual NBA games. Another new feature is dynamic living rosters. 2K Sports producer Zach Timmerman explains it lets users get roster updates faster and also adjusts ratings of players based on how they are performing in real life. Since its release last September 18, it hasn't been smooth sailing for iOS 7, with users complaining about battery life, among other issues. Well, here's the tip. The battery issue can easily be resolved by disabling background app refresh. Simply go to Settings, then General, and then Background App Refresh. Take off some or all of the options. Apple has since released iOS 7.0.2, fixing a bug that lets people bypass the lock screen passcode security feature. Another bug that Apple hopes to resolve in the next update is in iMessage, where users cannot reliably send or receive messages. In a statement sent to the Wall Street Journal, Apple says, quote, "We are aware of an issue that affects a fraction of a percent of our iMessage users, and we will have a fix available in an upcoming software update." A stopgap measure is to disable iMessage, resetting the network settings, and turning iMessage back on. Nokia's 41-megapixel Lumia smartphone, the Lumia 1020, launches in the Philippines this week. The phone hits Philippine shelves starting next Friday, October 11, for 36,650 pesos, contract-free. It will come bundled with the Nokia camera grip and will be available in yellow, white, and black. This is our unboxing and first look at LG's newest smartphone, the G2. Here is the phone. It comes in black and white. We have the black model for review today. You can actually knock twice to turn it off, and then you can tap again twice to turn it back on. Let's try that again. Double tap. And then of course you just have to wait a while to turn it back on. So that's how that works. Let's dive into the settings app to take a look at some of the customizations that we can make. One feature that I find interesting is guest mode. Now this is not particularly new, but you can basically, a lot of us have people coming up to us and wanting to take a look at our phones and play around with our phones. What you can do with guest mode is you can actually hide some photos and some files and some apps that you don't want other people to be able to get access to. So all you have to do is turn it on and make sure that you have pattern unlock enabled. So what you do is you set the pattern. So let's do R for Rappler. Okay, now let's turn off the display and then turn it on again. So now if you log on using the R pattern, you basically get a skimmed down version of the user interface, and basically you only get access to the camera, video, and some of the other apps based on what you've set it. Now let's turn it off again, turn it on, and use my main unlock key, which is T for TechRap, and you get access to all the files and applications that are available on the phone. So when you go to the display menu, like I talked about earlier, you can actually customize the front touch buttons because it doesn't have any physical buttons. It has front touch buttons that are built into the display itself. So when you click that, you have the first two options which we had earlier, but you actually have 4 additional options. So you have another button here which basically allows you to launch their quick memo app, which is, allows you to write on the screen, as you can see. Let me turn that off. And let's just set it back to the default view. Now let's take a look at the camera app and the camera of the LG G2. Lens on this camera, just like the iPhone 5, LG is using a sapphire crystal glass lens, which is supposed to be better. It's a 13 megapixel camera, main camera, and in front a 2.1 megapixel front-facing camera. Now let's load the camera app. Startup time is about 2 seconds, which is pretty standard for a smartphone of its class. As you can see, those green things over there, as you can see, they're trying to focus on the minion over there. It's a multi-point or 9-point autofocus system built in to the camera of the LG G2. There's several ways to take a shot. There is a button on the screen which you can use to take the shot. Now you actually have the option to use the buttons, and then since the only physical button on the device is on the back of the phone, let me try to get my finger on the back of the phone over here to show you. I can let it focus and it takes shots using the back button, but it's really difficult. It feels very unnatural. And you have the dual camera mode. This is and it allows you to use both the front-facing camera and the main camera at the same time. So there's me shot with a front-facing camera, and there's our minion there using the main camera. We can focus on the minion and we can take a shot. You can also use that in video mode. So when we're on video mode, you can actually choose dual recording as well. There you go, and you can record video of me and minion at the same time. You can actually shoot full HD videos using the Optimus G2. And as you can see here, there's an audio zoom function, meaning if I'm taking video of a person who's talking, and if I move away, then it'll automatically zoom so that the audio quality will not change. And we can also let me end by just going over some of my impressions based on the design of the phone. I like the fact that there are no physical buttons on the front of the device. And, building these buttons onto the display, they're not even capacitive buttons, but they're built onto into the displays. That's a great feature. I love that. I don't quite agree that this is the best place for the volume up and down buttons, as well as the ability to turn the screen on and off, but I do like the ability to be able to tap to turn off the display. Let me turn on the phone. Tap to turn the display on and off. I love that feature. It does feel like a premium phone, but I don't really like the way that the plastic back actually is such a magnet for fingerprints. And that was our unboxing and first look at the LTE-enabled Android smartphone from LG, the LG G2. LG's flagship smartphone is available now for 29,990 pesos.
When it previewed iOS7 last June, Apple called it the biggest update ever to come to iOS. Now, while that holds true, there is nothing revolutionary about this update. In fact, this update feels more like a makeover. They've removed the heavily criticized skeuomorphic design, which simply put is a design that mimics real-life objects. Gone is the yellow pad on notes. Everything feels flatter. From the flat icons, the new phone dialers, even the calendar app looks simpler and cleaner. Not quite sure though if the new flat design is a step in the right direction. If you're used to iOS 6, some things have been rethought. The search pane is no longer a swipe to the right of the home screen. It's a swipe down from anywhere on the screen. Also, when you're on lock screen mode, swipe to unlock brings out the passcode lock screen. Multitasking gets a makeover. You get previews of open apps which you can swipe upward to close. In some respects, iOS 7 merely brings the iPhone operating system at par with Android. Command Center, which is accessible via a swipe up from the bottom of the screen, brings up a panel that allows you to turn Wi-Fi or Bluetooth on and off, adjust brightness, and access frequently used apps like Calculator or Camera. Speaking of the Camera app, we're happy with the new changes. Instagram users will particularly like Square Camera Mode and Live Filters. The Photo app also gets an upgrade. You can now view photos sorted by events, date, and place. Siri gets improvements too. You can now change the voice from female to male, and it can now search Twitter and Wikipedia.
Search Twitter for social good.
Checking Twitter. I found some tweets.
Small UX improvements like parallax and transparencies are subtle, but give you a better sense of things. While Android provides more flexibility and more features, iOS remains the more intuitive and easy-to-use mobile operating system to date.
And that was TechRap. You know the drill, folks. Subscribe to Rappler.com on social media. Share this video if you love it. Send tech questions to TechRap@Rappler.com. Join the conversation using the hashtag TechRap. And final episodes on Rappler.com/TechRap. That's all for this week, folks. I'm Michael Josh. Thanks for dropping by.